The night was cold, and the city streets buzzed with their usual indifference. Among the rushing footsteps and blaring horns, there walked Emma, a single mom in her early 30s. Her coat was worn at the edges, her shoes scuffed, but she carried herself with quiet strength. In one hand, she held her daughter Lily's hand. In the other, a small grocery bag with just enough food to last them the week. Life had not been kind to Emma. After her husband left, she was left to raise Lily alone. Between juggling 2 part-time jobs and managing rent in a city that never seemed to rest, she often wondered how long she could hold everything together. Yet, every night when Lily smiled at her, she knew giving up was not an option. As they walked past a dimly lit alley that night, Emma spotted a figure slumped against the cold bricks. An old man, his clothes torn and stained, his face pale from hunger, was sitting with trembling hands. His eyes, tired yet searching, fell on Emma and Lily. "Ma'am," his voice cracked, barely more than a whisper. I haven't eaten in days." Emma paused. She had little to give. Her groceries were meant for Lily, but she couldn't ignore the desperate look in his eyes. Lily tugged at her hand and whispered, "Mommy, he's hungry." That was all it took. Emma knelt down, opened her grocery bag, and handed him the bread and apples she had just bought. The old man's hands shook as he accepted the food. Tears welled in his eyes as he muttered, "God bless you, child. People walk past me every day, but no one stops. You've saved me tonight." Emma smiled softly, though her own heart ached knowing tomorrow she would have to stretch even less food for herself and Lily. "Take care of yourself," she said gently. "You matter. Don't give up." She didn't know it then, but that small act of kindness would change her life forever. Later that evening, Emma returned home. She tucked Lily into bed and whispered stories of hope, even though her own worries screamed louder in her mind. Rent was due in a few days. Her work hours had been cut, and she didn't know how she'd make it through the month. Yet, despite her struggles, she prayed for strength and chose gratitude over despair. The next morning, as she rushed to her cafe job, something unusual happened. A sleek black car pulled up in front of the cafe. Out stepped a tall man in a tailored suit, clearly someone of wealth and status. The man entered the cafe, scanning the room until his eyes landed on Emma behind the counter. "You're Emma, right?" he asked, his voice steady yet filled with emotion. Emma froze. "Yes, can I help you?" The man's gaze softened. "My name is Daniel Carter. Last night, you gave food to an old man on the street. That man, he's my father." Emma's breath caught. "Your father?" Daniel nodded. "Yes. He left home months ago after a dispute in the family. We searched everywhere, but couldn't find him. He was too proud to return, too broken to ask for help. If not for you, he might not have survived another night." Emma's hands trembled as she tried to process his words. She hadn't helped for recognition, only because it was the right thing to do. Yet here was this man, standing before her, a CEO whose name she vaguely remembered seeing in headlines. Daniel continued, his voice thick with emotion. "My father told me about you. He said you looked at him like he was human, not invisible. He said your kindness gave him hope again. Emma, very few people would have done what you did." Emma lowered her eyes. "I just did what anyone should do. I couldn't walk away." But Daniel shook his head. "No, most people do walk away. You didn't, and I want to do something for you in return." At first, Emma resisted. She didn't want charity or pity. But Daniel saw the quiet resilience in her eyes, the way she carried burdens heavier than most, yet still chose compassion. After several conversations, he offered her a stable job at his company. Not out of guilt, but because he saw in her the strength, empathy, and leadership that money couldn't buy. Emma hesitated, worried she wasn't qualified. But Daniel reassured her. The best leaders aren't just the ones with degrees. They're the ones who know struggle, who understand people, who never forget where they came from. That's you. Emma accepted, and her life began to change. With the job came stability, and with stability came hope. She no longer feared eviction notices or empty plates at dinner. Lily began to thrive, seeing her mother not just survive but bloom. And the old man, with his son by his side again, he recovered slowly, both in health and in spirit. He often told Emma, "You saved me twice, once with bread, and again by giving me back my family." Months later, Emma stood at a company event Daniel hosted. She wasn't just an employee anymore. She was a trusted part of the team, admired for her dedication and compassion. Looking around the room filled with people in expensive suits, she realized something. Her greatest strength had never been money or status. It was her heart, the heart that chose kindness even when she had little. As Daniel raised a glass to toast the evening, his voice carried through the hall. This success isn't just about numbers. It's about people. And tonight, I want to honor someone who reminded me of that. Emma, the woman who gave without expecting, who taught us that true wealth lies in humanity. The room erupted in applause, but Emma's eyes filled with quiet tears. She never sought recognition. All she ever wanted was to raise her daughter with love and dignity. Yet her small act of compassion had rippled into something far greater than she ever imagined. And so, Emma's story became a reminder for everyone listening. Sometimes, the smallest kindness can open doors we never dreamed of. Sometimes, giving when we have little makes us richer than we could ever imagine. To the viewers watching now, remember this. You may feel unseen, struggling, or overlooked, but your heart, your kindness, your choice to care even in hardship, that is your true power. One act of compassion can transform a life, heal a family, and even change your own destiny. Because at the end of the day, it's not what we have, but what we give that defines us. Sparkle's final message for viewers. When life tests you, choose kindness. You never know whose life you'll touch, or how that moment will return to you in ways beyond imagination.